What's up, everybody? I'm going to be demoing out the Hard Surface Toolbox 2.8, and I'm going to be going over some of the new features. I'm going to have the stack and storage, which you can see in the modifier display panel. It's going to be a very packed and organized workflow. So now you'll be able to take your modifiers, isolate each one, create copies of it, open up floating subpanels for every Boolean modifier, every modifier, and then you'll be able to go over into the active objects section and show everything. You'll have a number of controls, and like I said, you'll be able to dump in a duplicate. If there is no modifier on it, you'll be able to add a modifier from that slot no matter where you click. So let's jump right in. I appreciate everybody watching, and let's get started. Now you'll have a very high level of organization on your modifier stack. You have a generate, deform, and physics. This is following the same pattern as what the devs are doing here. I don't have the edit up yet, and no, I won't be releasing this version yet, but it will be available pretty soon. So if we come in here, we'll say, hey, I want a Boolean on this object. And so I grab the Boolean, and I got this nice little floating panel I can bring out. And I don't have anything, so I have to add a type, and I could choose something different I will want, and then it doesn't matter. But I'm going to choose a bevel, and then I'm going to throw on a Boolean modifier as well. And now we've got these two. Now from here you have some other options. You can go in to your little floating panel here, and you can see you have some controls. You'll have parent reference, parent-child reference if you have parenting going on. Now this add right here is just adding the random modifier again. Like, it'll give you the big list. But if you click this button, it's going to add the exact same type. So if you want to add another Boolean, now you'll be able to do that. And just for the sake of this, the panel doesn't stay up the whole time, but it will stay up for a little while if you want to work in it. And then you'll see under my Boolean stack, I have just Booleans showing. And then if I want to go check out bevels, I can go to bevel, and I'm just showing that bevel. If I want to add another bevel, I can add another bevel. Then if you want, you can go to the active object, and your active object will list everything, and you'll have the same controls and abilities. You don't have any add buttons in here yet. I haven't put any add buttons in, but that's pretty cool. So you'll be able to do all that. Then, you know, I mean, like, you can literally just go through and add whatever you want. You got a curve object, you can add that. If I want to go to curve, you're going to have this. And then, once again, it's just going to add another curve if you so need it. And just a quick overview, you can add everything in your scene to a collection. And that's what this stack and storage is for. It does not tie into the modifier stacking, at least not yet. You just click add, and it's going to add objects collection 0. And then if by chance you've moved a few things, potentially rotated some stuff and scaled it, and go ahead and grab everything again, it's going to add objects collection 1. And now you can iterate between those two, and there's really just no limit to how much you put in here. It doesn't matter, and it'll just keep creating collections and then dumping them into sub collections and then referencing them from here. It is storing pointers and not storing them via names. So if you do change the name of an object, the transform is still going to point to these objects. I will add more functionality to this as time goes on. I do have a version of this that stores all of the lights and things like that, but you can't work from it from this panel. So this one will be dedicated just to the mesh objects and things like that. And it'll store lights as well. So if you do have a light in the scene, it doesn't matter, it'll store that and the position of it. And so the problem is, obviously, when you have a light selected, you're not in that menu. So that's just one of those caveats. So if I store this now, and let's just bring the location over here and select everything and go ahead and add, and we'll see that I can store the location rotation of that as well. And if I have a different type of light in here, like a spotlight, we can add that in as well, and we'll just hit A for all and go back over. I'll add another collection, and it's just storing now. It's got the light in here, it's going to store that as well. And we can go ahead and add that as a rotation. Make one of these mesh objects the active. That way it just bumps me back over. And it'll store the location, rotation, scale of those as well. Lots of cool features, and that is just the basics for the storage version. And in the edit preferences, you'll have a few things here. You'll have the custom context menu. It's Alt-Right mouse. You'll have some different things in here, like the mirroring stuff that's in the AutoPie mirror. You'll be able to change the hotkeys for that, the shortcuts, and then you have the MirrorPie shortcut. You'll be able to change that as well. Then you'll be able to turn off the wireframe mesh inspection. So if you were to, mirror this thing, you get a neat little wireframe that'll pop up and it'll disappear automatically. Then if you have a hard surface model and you're trying to mirror something, what you can do here, and I'll just pull up the carver tool and do a little cut. Okay, I didn't have the object selected somehow. Do a little cut in right here, and once you've done that, if you wanted to mirror this and remove the lines, then you'll be able to do that. Now this is a dissolve operator here. This one is going to be, like I said, best for hard surface models that are not going to specifically be rounded or anything like that. I've got a ton of modifiers on this thing, so I'll take everything off of here except for the bevel. There we go. That looks a little bit better now. And so when you're doing that, just realize that we'll cut those dissolve lines out for you, but if that's on a round model, it's definitely going to affect your mesh in a negative way. Couple of things. I opened up Blender 4.1 Alpha, and my add-on does not fully work in that yet, but the majority of it does. You'll see the pie menus missing the X and the Y axis, the 2Y axis, plus my node group here, but it does still work for this purpose. And I'll just want to show you this, guys. This is part of the future updates. I'm moving fast here. We're going all the way to Blender 4.2 soon and all this other stuff. So adding auto smooth, this adds the node group, which is now coming standard in Blender. So you'll see the functionality here, how this works, and it's just going to be a basic auto smooth. And if we go into my Q menu, my favorites, and try to shade this auto smooth without this thing, let's go ahead and shade it auto smooth. Now the operator doesn't even work anymore, so shade it flat, and then we can put the auto smooth node group. And if you don't know where that is, you can just come in to your geo nodes with your object selected, and we'll just click new. And from here, what you do is Shift A and just type in auto smooth, and there'll be a group in there, or there should be, and it's this same exact thing. And you can hit ignore sharpness, and it's going to do the same thing as the pie menu. So it's not something that I came up with. It is something that is standard in Blender. So if you come in, you'll see it's got a node group set up, and that's what's going to be happening as we move forward with Blender 4.1, 4.2, and so on. But I just try to make it easy on you guys. So you'll have an option for doing that in one click, or technically 2 clicks. I appreciate everybody watching, and I hope to have this release out in the next week. Like I've said previously in another video, I am working with a couple of other Python devs to add some more powerful mesh manipulation tools to the hard surface toolbox. Check it out. There'll be a link in the comments. You can pick this up on Blender Market. You can pick it up on Gumroad. And if you want some free add-ons, you can jump on my Patreon link. I've got a bunch of free add-ons in there for you guys to play around with. Some are actually pretty powerful. I should charge for them, but I'm not going to. Catch you guys in the next one.